Besides Todd Howard and his leather jacket, I don't know a thing about the Fallout games, but I think that just made the experience of watching the show better for me. It would have been fun to look at all the Easter eggs and references and see how many I could notice, but I still really enjoyed Amazon's new Fallout show. Welcome to Sandwich Reviews. I'm the Talking Sentient Sandwich, and was I the only one who got a bunch of red saturation in some of the early scenes? Other than that glaring flaw, the camera work and editing is serviceable. Not bad, but not extraordinary. There are some moments where the choice of song and camera placement are truly inspired, but it's pretty rare for the long, close to 8-hour runtime. One thing that was consistently great were the intros, each more unique and stylized than the last, always fitting the context of the scene before. And beyond that, the show had a really solid thematic foundation of the idyllic 50s aesthetic juxtaposed with terrible people doing terrible things. This may be my nihilistic side talking, but at the end of the day, nothing about humanity will change, no matter what circumstances surround us. Will always consist of big and powerful people oppressing the small and the weak. Kindness can be the most powerful tool to wield, but to survive in a world like the one Fallout is set in, what are you willing to sacrifice to survive? That idea is explored to its full potential, diving into every viewpoint the writing can while still giving the audience an entertaining experience. The most prevalent idea that I saw was the danger of corporations eating other corporations, letting greed overcome their basic need for survival and becoming the biggest fish, owning everything and creating a controlling stake in the welfare of humanity. Brought to you by a big corporation, mind you, but I still liked the themes. For the most part, the show doesn't dumb down the narrative to make sure everyone's up to speed on the characters and the story, yet there are more than a few moments of stupidity and bad writing. However, I did like the story. There wasn't a lot of emotional weight to it, but the narrative drama held my attention for the whole show and made me excited for more. I think a weekly release of this show might have drummed up a bit more excitement and publicity, but I'm really glad I was able to watch this show at my own pace, which is often in an unhealthy binge. But hey, I do what I want. There was a dry humor with most of the robots in the show, despite them trying to be threatening, sometimes successfully. And let me tell you, I really appreciated that. It made me look forward to seeing the next robot, and every time we met a new one, I perked right up. If you're a fan of the games or interested in a story about hope not quite surviving in the worst of post-apocalyptic dystopias, then definitely check out Fallout. But it's time to talk spoilers. If you're watching the show like a normal person and haven't finished it yet, then pause the video and come back later. Ready? Okay, let's get into it. I am so glad the dog didn't die. I recognized her from some of the promotional material for one of the Fallout games, so when she got stabbed, I was ready to break my TV. In fact, it's just not even fair to put a dog in a TV show or a movie, because I'll always get attached to them. I said that there wasn't a lot of emotional weight in the show, and that's not entirely true, because that dog meant everything to me. But aside from the dog, the characters were all natural and genuine, from the main ones down to the side characters you meet for 10 minutes. It took half of the season for the main characters to meet up, and I'm so glad their stories were organically built up before entirely combining. Lucy, the show's primary character, is naive but not stupid, which I really appreciated too. She's incredibly brave, and not just when it comes to physical danger. She's always open about what she wants, which is contrasted really well with the next main character, Max. Weaseling his way into his suit of armor, it made a lot of the scenes a little cringy to watch with him, but I just chalked that up to tension, and the more tension, the better. By the way, his character survived a nuke by hiding in a fridge, and I feel like they put that in just to spite Indiana Jones. Lots of screen time is given to the Ghoul, the guy who I assumed would be the antagonist for the whole season, and everything about him was magnificent. Making him a has-been was so interesting, and let his fall into the evil side of corporatization give so much more context to the show than if they hadn't included that at all. The narrative also goes back to the vault a bunch, and I was really worried that was going to be boring. But for me, most of the intrigue in the show comes from that storyline. The mystery behind that was what really got me to keep watching episode after episode until the truth was finally revealed. And while I could have predicted that the nice vaults have a sinister underbelly from the very beginning, it was fun to slowly dive into what was really going on. A lot of weirdos and fun characters populate Lucy's vault, but man, I loved this guy in particular. Maybe it's just because I would die for him in Severance, but I will always enjoy seeing Zack Sherry. Side note, when I looked him up, I realized he was the do a flip guy from Spider-Man Homecoming, and I need to share that information. But back to Fallout, because one thing that definitely didn't work for me was the romance between Max and Lucy. It wasn't the worst romance subplot I've seen, but when they kissed, it was supposed to be lovely and charming. But I couldn't help but think about how bad their breath probably smelled. But aside from those nitpicks, I really did enjoy my time with this show, and it might even make me get into some of the games. I've heard 3 and New Vegas are the best, but of those, which should I start with? Drop a comment below and let me know which one you think is best. And as always, thanks for watching. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe for weekly videos and reviews, and enjoy a delicious sandwich.